Hey, what's up, everyone? This is David Greenspan, and you are listening to Season 2 of the MindShare Podcast, a proud member of the Industry Syndicate Media Network. Additional podcasts are available at industrysyndicate.com and mindshare101.com. This season, we are grateful to once again be sponsored by Kit's Keep in Touch Systems. Now, Kits is the go-to resource for realtors to help them stay in touch with their contact list, offering tools such as Loop CRM, email newsletters, the most personalized direct mail newsletters available. And yes, direct mail still works. Their famous Wow calendars, which if you haven't checked out, you're missing out. Websites, curated social media content, and so many more features that make building Mindshare, bottom line, just simple for you. And if you haven't yet, check out everything that Kits has to offer by going to www.kitspack.com or even go to mindshare101.com and click the Kits link in the top nav bar. So a very big thank you to Kits for all of your support for the Mindshare podcast. Also, when you head over to my website, mindshare101.com, make sure to check out my Mindshare 101 videos. They're short 1 to 3 minute clips packed with a lot of punch, and as always, everything is meant to get you thinking and making you better. All that being said, this is episode 56. So big happy new year, everybody. Wow, what a past couple of weeks it has been. With the holidays all lining up together, being in the middle of the week instead of the weekend, New Year's being the same, it has literally been 2 weeks of who knows even what day it is, or lots of getting together with friends and family and eating way too much, and boy, it has been awesome. But now, right now, is the time to make sure we get ourselves on track. We implement all of those resolutions and the goals we had. All these ideas on how we're going to be better for ourselves this year. How we're going to do more business. How we are going to dominate this new decade and get to our next level in 2020. You see, I used to laugh at the idea of setting goals, and I never did this whole resolution thing. I mean, so many people set these resolutions of working out, losing weight, and getting in better shape. And we know that the gyms are packed for about the first, 14 days of the year. And then it's back to everyone's normal routines because, let's face it, it's not easy to just up and change our habits and what we do every day. This shit takes work, dedication. We need an actual plan. And then we need to stick to that actual plan. We are the only ones who can make this happen. And that is the biggest thing everyone needs to understand. I mean, we, me, you. We're the only ones that can actually make it happen. And there's the hardest part. I mean, shit, I have to do this? You mean it's not just to, good enough to think about it, but I actually have to do it? Oh, man, where do I start? And as I said, I used to laugh at this stuff. I used to not even go near it. But then as I get frustrated, I feel overwhelmed. And of course, Jen finally convinced me that I needed to change the way I set myself up. I needed to come up with a better system for how I get stuff done. I needed a way to get it done, to enjoy the process, and of course have success, while not feeling totally lost and overwhelmed. So think about this. The other day, and I'm going somewhere with this, but the other day I was looking at a digital picture frame in my house, and I noticed that a lot of the pictures were from a few years ago. Now, that's all good because it's like, the look back on when the kids were younger, and it's all the memories. But I also got to thinking, we take so many pictures with our phones, and we rarely do anything with them. You know what I mean for sure, right? Back in the day, we used to develop pictures. We could actually see them. Now we just take 17 pictures of the same exact moment, because we can. We post the perfect one up to social media, and then maybe we put them on a hard drive that we never really look back at. I mean, at least that's what we do. So I thought it'd be great to finally update that frame. Go through the pics, add all the new stuff in. And as I'm looking at the frame, I all of a sudden had this thought, right? And just started having this thought around time. Oh, but how long would this take to go through what's on my phone? And then I got to plug it into the frame, and then I got to load the new pictures up, and I've got to spend time choosing which ones to put up there. And I mean, all of this stuff was going through my head because We don't do this often enough, right? So it's a big, overwhelming, overloading feeling. So then the next thought that goes through, and this is the strategic one, so stay with me on this. In order to not make this such a pain in the ass, I should schedule a specific time in my calendar to make this happen. But when? How often? How much time will this take? These are all the thoughts that were going through my mind. And hey, that's a good thing. It means I'm thinking strategy. You with me here? You see, to get something done means spending time. And making time is really one of the hardest parts because it means we're taken away from something else. Then, when it seems like a chore, it makes it even harder to actually do. So the idea here is to be strategic about it. I want to get the pictures updated. So I need to set a goal of when this will happen. Then I need to map out these steps I need to take in order to actually make it happen. Then ultimately, there will be new pictures on our digital frame. Well, without the plan, the old pictures will remain, and we'll never update to add the new ones. Now, I want you to take the same example for anything we do. All those goals you have, you should have for the new year, your resolutions, the same steps need to happen. You see, the resolution is the goal. The solution is how we achieve that goal. So in comes the plan. And it's essentially a 3-step process. Step 1, set the goals, create the resolutions. Step 2, manage time so you can get it all done. And step 3, consistency. Plans are boring, habits can be too. The same old is just that, the same old. So consistency is actually hard. And in fact, it becomes the hardest part of the whole process. So let's tackle each one, like one by one right now, okay? Step 1, your New Year's resolutions, those goals we set. And if you haven't, as soon as you're done this episode, you'd better do this. That's if you want to dominate the entire year ahead of you. A New Year's resolution is simply put, a goal that you set. It's usually to improve on something, losing weight, quitting smoking, spending more time with family, even doubling your business, this year over last year. It could be short term, it could be long term. But start by picking only one thing. Pick the one thing that you really want to focus on this year. Take a pen and a piece of paper. Think about all the things that frustrated you this year, that bothered you, the annoying stuff. You know that thing that you really knew when you looked in the mirror that you just needed to change for yourself? Write it down. And you might come up with like a really long list here, right? But the key is to not only think about it, but to actually write it down as you think about it. Your wheels are going to be turning. You'll forget about some of the stuff you thought about. So write everything down because it's one thing, again, to think about it. But as we write it down, we're actually bringing it to life. We can't forget about that quick thought we just had that just left because we just saw a squirrel, right? We're focused. We're writing everything down. Now that we've got it written down, review the list. Look for that one thing that really tops the list. Next, analyze what it is that causes you to do the opposite. What it is that causes you to never make the change. Why do you continue to do the opposite of what you really want? Maybe you love the flavor of that popcorn so much. Okay, I've got to admit here, I've got a really bad habit of eating popcorn. It's literally my favorite snack. Or maybe, you get so exhausted working out that it's really hard work for you and you just don't want to keep it up. Maybe you should be making more connections with people in your database, but you just never put the time aside to actually make it happen because you're always too busy with other things. You see, what we're doing here is we're identifying the reason we're doing the opposite of what we really want. And we're also being very specific about what this thing is that we really want. This could even be that, you don't spend enough time with family, and what you really want to do is spend more time with family. Now come up with a plan. How do we deal with those negative forces? I shouldn't munch late at night, but the popcorn is so good. I should be working out, but the workouts are so tiring. I need to spend more time with family, but time is not something I have enough of. What are you going to do to change this? You're going to write this down, and you're going to commit to yourself. Make sure that you can see it all so you can actually consciously remind yourself about it every single day. Now, once you've written it down, and start immediately, right? Start making things happen. Do not wait until tomorrow or after the weekend. Do not give yourself some imaginary timeline of when you're going to start. I mean, if you want it that bad, if you really, really want it, then make it happen and start right now. You will begin to feel better right away. Instead of allowing for, the bad habit or whatever it is to continue on for another day or more. Instead of waiting for it, make the change you really want and do it now. And to help with this, set mini goals for yourself. I mean, we've already identified the big goal, that thing that you want to change. So now what we want to do is we want to create a plan for what we're going to do each day to actually make that change, right? This is the roadmap. So this goes back to the big picture. It starts with the big picture. What it is that you want to achieve this year. Then we're breaking it down to what we can realistically accomplish, what we need to accomplish each month for the next 12, so that each month we get closer to success. Then we break down the monthly to weekly and then to daily. And now we know exactly the steps we need to take to get there, to achieve this new resolution of ours. And we'll go further into managing time for this in step 2 in just a moment. But by setting small daily goals, we've just taken this big goal of ours and we've crushed it right down into tiny, little, digestible pieces, making it easier to accomplish each day, giving us realistic goals that we can look back on each day and be proud of what we've done. And this keeps the momentum going, right? These are little tricks to, that will help us continue with the momentum. And again, we'll talk more about consistency as well in step 3 in just a moment. But it's important to always keep in mind that you may fail. And that's normal. We're making a big change here. And this takes doing things differently and changing a routine, what we're used to. And so it's okay. Don't let it stop you, though. Instead, let it motivate you to do better tomorrow. Then when you do those things you should be doing, the ones that you maybe didn't do yesterday, you'll feel even better. And you'll want to do it again tomorrow. You know when you do good? You know when you do not so good? You are making the change. And most importantly, you need to believe in yourself. You need to believe in yourself. If you are going to start, then why stop? You see, it's said that 80% of people will fail within the first 6 weeks of the year at these resolutions they set. And side note, that's why the MindShare Challenge runs for 8 weeks. But I've also read that 27% fail within the first week and 50% within a month. Bottom line, more than half of people fail. You don't want to be those people, do you? Now, as I said earlier, time is always the challenge. Whoever has enough of it? We're so connected these days that it's hard not to be caught up doing something, talking to someone. We're just always connected. So time is hard to manage. And in real estate, your days may or may not start a little later than the typical 9 to 5, but you're certainly out later than that on most days. How do we get all the work done? And if you have a family, how do we make the time for them? And how do we even make the time to do things we want to do in life, like for ourselves? The reason to manage time is so that we can measure our overall daily performance and get us closer to achieving our goals. And don't worry, it's totally normal to get stressed out about not having enough time to get it all done. So in comes step 2. Here's a plan you can follow to help you either review how you currently run your day, or it'll give you the guide to follow so you can get better organized in, running your day. So my question to you is this. What method do you use to keep organized? Do you use a calendar? And if so, is it on your phone, in a CRM? Is it on paper? Do you use a notebook at all for creating a task list? You see, we need to identify where you mark it all down. And I'm talking like all of it, from business to personal. Where is it so that you can see it in the snap of a finger? How are you referencing that on a whim when somebody says, hey, can you do? Can you meet? When is a good time for you? When do you want to schedule your next haircut? Whatever it is, where do you look? And if you're someone who isn't so organized, you might get shit done, but you're all over the place. Then making a change to become more organized so you can accomplish more, it's going to be a task of trial and error, right? Figuring out where you're going to naturally look and write stuff down. It's going to take time as you try out different methods. And personally for me, like I like everything online because it's easy for me to access, but I love the ease and the feeling of pen and paper, especially when I'm in my creative time. So once we have our spot, right, this place that we want to put everything, we start off by plugging in all of our realistic time. All of the stuff that we want to get done in life that has to do with family, be it extracurricular activities for the kids, dinner with friends or family, or even mowing the lawn or shopping for groceries. We're going to get this stuff done, so it needs to go in the calendar. This is, again, what's realistic, the realistic time in our life. You see, we need to know when it's realistic that we will or will not be working. Next, we plug in all of our business. Mark down all of our week's to-dos. Remember the process we followed to break down those resolutions of ours, right? At the top of the week, Sunday night, we look at what needs to get done this week so we get closer to winning the month. And of course, each night, we review for the day ahead. So again, taking 15 to 20 minutes every single night to plan for tomorrow. So we make the list. When are we going to do our prospecting? When are we doing our calls to people and connecting with people in our database? When are we going to answer email, check social media, and get all our admin work done? Make the list and schedule the time. This is your plan. This is how you're achieving this resolution you want. You're focused on what it is. You know what you need to do. You have the daily guide with the actual map, aka your calendar, to make you a winner. Do not procrastinate. Stick to your schedule. Stay away from distractions. This is why I said to schedule your social media. You see, you go on there when the time is scheduled for it. You don't go on there every 2 seconds or when you're bored. You have shit to do. Get it done. And don't be shy to get people to help you either. I mean, tell people what you need and have them do something for you. Other people can actually be better than us at different things. So leverage their expertise. Get a good job done and get more done because you're delegating responsibilities. And at the end of every single day, always review the day and prep for tomorrow. Where were my wins? What did I not get done? What has to get done tomorrow? Then go to bed and do it all over again. You see, the more we manage time, the more we get done, the less stressed we become. The more mind share we build, which means the more market share we will earn. But this routine, it can get boring quickly. And this is why people fail. Not being able to keep up with the new routine, not being able to keep up with any routine, and falling right back into the same place they were 3 weeks earlier when they decided to set this New Year's resolution. So ask yourself, do you really want it? Do you really want to succeed? Or were you just playing yourself? Are you too weak to really make this happen? I mean, it was a great idea, but, I'm just not strong enough to do this. Because that's what you're really saying. I mean, yeah, this may sound harsh, but this is reality. If you're going to set a goal, something you've identified that you really want or even need to do, then why the hell would you give up on it? You need to stay strong. Remember that people don't win 100% of the time. In fact, most of the time, people lose. And that's why winning feels so good. There can only be one winner, right? In this case, though, you're competing against you. So there can also only be one loser. In essence, you have a 50-50 shot at this. Do you really not care that bad? Being consistent at all of this is the magic to getting it done. Coming up with the resolution is the easy part. Managing time and having the roadmap to make it happen takes thinking. But bringing it to life? Now that takes effort. Routines are boring, and this is why consistency is so hard. So easy to say, but so hard to do. Step 3. The more consistently we do anything, the closer we get to whatever it is we're doing. For example, you want it to get healthier, but day after day you're still munching without actually cutting it out? And you're still saying you'll hit the gym tomorrow, but every time tomorrow comes, you say tomorrow again. The same way that if you consistently call people in your database, you won't be able to help but increase your business. And we both know that most of your business comes from people who already know you, like you, and trust you, right? Whether it's direct or referral, your business comes from your list. Consistently ignoring them well, you don't get as much biz. But consistently get in touch, you get more biz. Everything comes down to consistency. And this is exactly where you need to push yourself in order to succeed. In fact, on February 11th, we start the next live MindShare Challenge. And as I mentioned, we spend 8 weeks together on a daily basis in a group format, and we create the right habits for success. We dive a lot deeper into this whole time management topic, and you're able to ask all the questions and get all the help you need to make this happen. This right now is the perfect time, right now, to get registered. Our 8 weeks is going to wrap up on March 31st, right in time for the spring market. And during our time together, I'm going to be hosting a live webinar once a week on a specific topic. You can see all the details online at the msc101.com for what each session is about. You'll have a dashboard outlining personalized goals for you so you can check in on how you're doing against yourself, as well as how you stack up against everyone else taking the challenge. We're going to keep you accountable. You'll be part of our private online community with the ability to network with people and ask all of your questions. I'll also be diving deeper every day into that week's topic with even more content, tips, and tricks, as well as highlighting some apps that can make building MindShare easier. This is an entire gamified experience. The challenge is there, the accountability is there, you'll achieve the success you want, and you're going to have a lot of fun doing it. All the details are at the msc101.com. Go there when you finish listening to this episode and use the promo code MS10140 to get 40% off registration. You're going to build so much MindShare that you're going to dominate your spring market. I mean, I am so pumped for you and everybody else who's going to be with us. I mean, you want to make that change? This is it. Usually $397, but you're getting 40% off. So it's only $238 and change and plus tax. It's a steal. And it's not going to last long. Oh, and as you complete your personalized challenges each week, you're going to earn badges along the way. And once you earn every badge, not only will you take your business to the next level, but you're also going to become a certified MindShare marketing master. We're going to take everything you just learned in today's episode. We're going to load so much more on top of it, including social media, landing pages, videos, prospecting. It is going to be awesome. So go get yourself registered today. Tell your friends. Tell the world. The MSC101.com, promo code MS10140. Let's do this. Now, I just gave you an easy-to-follow 3-step process to achieving your New Year's resolution. Now, it's up to you. Most people fail. Do you really want to be most people? You're either listening to this on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, or anywhere and everywhere else you can find podcasts. Maybe you went to industrysyndicate.com, maybe you downloaded our free Industry Syndicate podcast app, or maybe you went to my website, mindshare101.com. Wherever you like to consume your content, please rate, review, leave a comment, and make sure you subscribe. And if you haven't yet, connect with me on Facebook at MindShare101 and on Instagram at DavidGreenspan101. This has been our first episode of Season 2 of the MindShare Podcast. Thank you, everyone, for listening.